Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Scott Siegel, Mark Joseph Chair.
Thank you. What a great day to be in Macon, Georgia. Thank you for being here. My name is Scott Siegel. I am the board chair of the Greater Macon Chamber of Commerce, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to the 2023 State of the Community. This is an historic event celebrating the bicentennial of this great community in the historic Macon Auditorium. The State of the Community is an annual signature program hosted by the Greater Macon Chamber of Commerce in partnership with Macon-Bibb County. Soon you'll hear from the Mayor Miller as he delivers the State of the Community address, and I know that he's been working on this for 200 years. Is that right, Mr. Mayor? But first, let's thank another feature of the program today, our lunch serve Taste of Macon style. We're so grateful to our chamber-invested restaurants for providing lunch, and so please join me in thanking Acres and Oak, the Butcher Shop, Fincher's Barbecue, H&H, Natalia's, and the Oakview Group. Let's give them a round of applause. Speaking of businesses, you may have seen some special guests here today from our Bibb County school system. These students are entrepreneurs who participated in the Flex Student Competition and Pitch Contest. I want to give them all a round of applause and send a special congratulations to Michaela Whitehead for placing second in the state competition. And they are all here to network, so if you haven't met them, please make sure you do before they leave. They have great ideas, and their businesses in the future will make an impact on our community. To start our program, we will begin with an acknowledgement of the land. Please welcome to the stage Cindy Busby, Forward Macon board member and chief of staff for Atrium Health.
Thank you, Scott. It's my pleasure to read this today. Late last year, in recognition and in partnership with the Muskogee Creek Nation, the Macon-Bibb County Board of Commissioners and Mayor unanimously decided the land acknowledgement should be included in our Code of Ordinances, the pact with which we govern ourselves. I'm humbled today to read this land acknowledgement excerpt to recognize our original inhabitants. Macon-Bibb County respectfully acknowledges the Muskogee Creek people who lived, worked, produced knowledge on, and nurtured the land now known as Macon-Bibb County. In 1821, the Muskogee Creek people were forced to relinquish this land. We recognize the sustained oppression, land dispossession, and involuntary removals of the Muskogee Creek peoples from Georgia and the Southeast. We seek to honor the Muskogee Creek Nation and other indigenous caretakers of the land by humbly seeking knowledge of their histories and committing to respectful stewardship of the land.
Thank you, Cindy. Now we'll continue with some acknowledgments. At this time, please stand. The Macon-Bibb Fire Department and Sheriff's Office Honor Guard team will present the colors, followed by the national anthem by Charles Davis, the Pledge of Allegiance, and invocation.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed as the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
You'll join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And at this time, I would like to invite the Reverends James Goolsby and Reverend Scott Dickinson for the joint invocation.
Would you join us in prayer? God, who we know by many different names and many different experiences, we call upon you this morning to be present to us in this hour and in this season in the life of our community. Be present to us this day as we celebrate the good work being done here among us to build a community of which we all can be proud, a community rooted in togetherness and belonging, a community that values every person and neighborhood as part of the whole, a community that invests in all its children, remembering that their well-being is the key to our future, a community that inspires hard work and creative thinking, a community of character and resilience, a community that is committed to the common good, remembering that our lives and futures are all wrapped up in each other's. We celebrate all that has been done to create such a place, and we're mindful that there is much work yet to be done, that there are challenges present and challenges ahead, many of which are rooted in our past. And so we ask that you would give us courage enough at this important milestone in our history to tell this truth about where and who we have been, so that we would embrace our shared future with a sense of conviction and renewed purpose, and most of all, great and abiding hope.
God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, thou who hast brought us thus far by the way, thou who hast by thy might led us into the light, keep us forever in thy path, we pray. We invoke your presence, not just in this luncheon, but in every aspect of our lives, even the way we do business. Even now, as we gather on this day in this place to celebrate this city that we love, we could only be blessed by the presence of you in the midst of this all. Your most gracious God, we are hopeful, even aware, profoundly aware of the iniquities of our past and our present. We are hopeful. We remain hopeful so much because of the fact that we understand you have given us instructions in your word that whatever we do heartily as unto you. We remain hopeful because you have informed us through your prophet Micah. What shall we come, Lord, and bow before you? Shall we come before you with burnt offerings, with calves of a year old? Will you again, will we plant and give the things unto you that you so richly deserve? God, we are well aware, as the prophet said, should we come with 10,000s of rams, 10,000s of rivers of oil? Shall we give our firstborn for our transgressions, the fruits of our bodies for the sins of our souls? You have shown us what is good and what you require of us, but to do justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with you, O God. Yes, O God, as the psalmist declared, we would have lost hope. Yet we believe with all our heart that we will see your goodness in the land of the living. So help us, O God, to not give up, to not be impatient, to be entwined as one with you, to be brave and courageous, and never lose hope. This is your servant's prayer. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Please join me in thanking the Macon-Bibb County Fire Department and Sheriff's Office Honor Guard team. And Charles Davis, the voice of 100.9 Creek FM. And thank you for the inspiring words from Reverend James Goolsby, pastor of First Baptist Church, and Reverend Scott Dickinson, pastor of First Baptist Church of Christ. Please be seated. I'm sorry. At this time, though, I would like to ask all the chamber board members to please stand and be recognized, and I want to thank them personally for their commitment to serving the chamber and the business community here. If you would stand, please. And we're very grateful for our presenting sponsor, First Choice Primary Care, for their continued support of this annual signature program, as well as their contribution to the health care of our community and providing health access. Please welcome the CEO, Catherine McLeod, for her sponsor remarks.
Thank you, Scott. That's always a hard act to follow. So thank you. On behalf of the Board of Directors of First Choice Primary Care and our 108 employees, we welcome everybody. We're delighted to be able to sponsor this event once again, particularly in this milestone bicentennial year. Speaking of our board, most of them are here with us today. I want to thank all of them for their many years of really hardworking service and their vision and seeing what could be. I'd also like to recognize Dr. Tim Graves and Claudette Slade, my partners in our leadership team. I thank all of our staff that some of you met that were handing out the goodie bags. We've sent them off to have lunch, so I was going to recognize them, but they really make things happen every day. We are delighted to be here along with our friends from Warner Robins. I know that Mayor Patrick is going to be here. I haven't been able to find the Robins table. I see April. Last week was a big week in Warner Robins for us, and that Green Street neighborhood in Warner Robins, we've just started work on adding a new pharmacy. At the same time, the city of Warner Robins bought a building just down the street from us to really start the next step in the city of Warner Robins' efforts to address the problems of the unhoused. And so we're looking forward to that partnership. And that affects Macon too. It's not a Warner Robins problem or a Macon problem, but it's something we are working on together. For those of you who don't know what First Choice Primary Care does, we provide primary medical care to anyone, whether you have insurance or not. We do a lot more than just medical care, but that's the core of what we do, helping people manage their diabetes or their high blood pressure or whatever issues they have. Last year, we took care of almost 12,000 people in our 6 locations. In your bag, there's a little flyer with some of the numbers, so I won't read those to you. Last year, we finally moved from our original home on Walnut Street into a building on Poplar Street. We were delighted to do that. It took us a lot longer than we planned, but with the help of the Peyton Anderson Foundation, the Navison Foundation, Community Foundation, and some other generous folks, we were able to renovate that building and now have a beautiful place to provide care to our patients. And we have a pharmacy there that's open to anyone. Growth downtown is important, and we're delighted to be part of that. Also love having the chamber as our neighbor now. I can see y'all walking across the street from my office window. But there's more to be done outside of downtown. We need to reach further into the neighborhoods. And our next step is to build a new building on Houston Avenue. We plan to break ground this summer. We hope by June. We've got plans out for bid right now, so we're excited about that project. We want to offer our patients in South Macon the same access to care. We'll have a pharmacy there too, and provide the same level of service to South Macon that we do downtown. So, thank you. We're also excited, it just happens that right across Houston Avenue is where the county's going to be making a major push around the Cliffview Lake Park. So we think those two projects together will really make a statement in South Macon. And then once we make some progress there, it's on to East Macon, but that'll come another time. One last thing before I go, we've all kind of learned to live with COVID, but there are still people every day dying from COVID. So I know the advice about boosters, vaccines is very confusing, but the most vulnerable people among us are still susceptible. So the best thing we can all do is get vaccinated or boosted, talk to your doctor or pharmacist. If you want to come to our pharmacy, we have the COVID vaccine. Give us a little warning because we need to thaw it out. You don't want a cold shot. But we're there 6 days a week. So I just encourage you all to consider that. Thanks again to the Chamber. Thanks to everybody for being here. And look forward to hearing from the member. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Catherine. And to all the doctors, nurses, and staff at First Choice Primary Care, please be sure to stop by their table and thank them for being here. We'd also like to thank at this time our platinum sponsor, Communities in School. Our gold sponsors are Atrium Health Navison, Cox Communications, Georgia Power Company, Jones Corp, Macon-Bibb County Industrial Authority, McNair, Macamora, Middlebrooks, and Wesleyan College. Let's give them a round of applause. We also greatly appreciate the support of our silver sponsors and bronze sponsors, who you will find listed in the programs on your table and shown from our stage today. And thank you all for supporting our business community and programs like the State of the Community. Now, in addition to our sponsors, we have a lot of other VIPs in this room today, including those who serve our community. To respect your time, we're not going to call every name individually, but when I call on your office, please stand so our audience can recognize you. From Macon-Bibb County, the Honorable Mayor Miller and the Macon-Bibb Commissioners, please stand. From our neighbors in Warner Robins, the Honorable LaRonda Patrick and any of the Warner Robins or Houston County local elected officials. Representatives from congressional offices of Congressman Bishop, Congressman Scott, and U.S. Senators Warnock and Senator Ossoff, please stand. Members of the Georgia General Assembly, please stand. Members of the Macon Water Authority, please stand. Members of the Bibb County School District and Board, please stand. We're also honored to have right here in the front Justice Verda Colvin of the Supreme Court of Georgia. Please stand. And finally, and maybe most importantly, if you're an active duty military or a veteran, please stand and let our community recognize you. It is now my distinct honor to introduce you to a very special guest who will then introduce the mayor. Our guest is responsible for the safety, security, morale, and welfare of 23,000 total force airmen assigned to Robins Air Force Base and 28,000 local dependents and retirees. Please welcome Colonel Sergio Rios, Vice Commander, 78th Air Base Wing at Robins Air Force Base in Georgia.
For a second, I thought, wait a minute, the mayor is after me. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, hold on a second. Yeah, the mayor's office is calling right now, ladies and gentlemen. We have a video, breaking news video we're going to show first.
The man who's strong, step up to the plate of our community. This man is the Korean.
We honor the original peoples of this land, the Macon-Bibb Nation, by raising their flag in the land of this former capital city, and we have started towards new cultural change in the community here. These relationships are vital to us and the future generations to win this game.
I got my thing to be mindful today. I can show all my people on my family and as we translate in the city when I buy translate with the government and say some place. I take pride in the national department of training.
Let's talk about businesses and apartments. This year we've had a resurgence in the Eisenhower corridor thanks to the revitalization of the Macon Mall and new Macon.
Celebration
bring more people to the game. Coca-Cola United has committed to invest $85 billion in expansion and 50 jobs.
I'm having all new entrepreneurs stepping up to the plate and strengthening our solid system. In the past year, we allowed us to not only sell 7,000 vehicles, but help make them home and live on our own. Here's thanks to all the small business owners getting organized every day with new ideas, new products, and new ways to love our community.
The hundreds of people that give up their days to pick up litter in our food community dump sites gives us a clear path to home blessings. That's fine. This section, we have several opportunities. We have a food section and other free resources that have no presence in our community. We're pleased to report that why mental health matters.
Our team prepared this home, but with the world's eyes on us. I know that we're going to keep moving forward together.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You know, walking in here a few minutes ago, I was kind of taken back. I come to these events, and every single time, Middle Georgia just wows me. Look to your left, look to your right. Right? These are the people that make it happen. Sorry, a little feedback there. These are the people that make it happen, and Middle Georgia knows truly what community partnerships are all about. On behalf of the nearly 23,000 members of Team Robbins, I'm honored to be here to take part of the Greater Chamber of Commerce State of the Community and listen to Mayor Miller's vision for the upcoming year and salute to 200 years. Your chamber serves as a vital role in promoting business interests of members through advocacy, building partnerships, and education. You have the pulse of the community. For over 8 decades, community stakeholders and Team Robbins have been committed to one another's success. Your continued support is vital to Robbins' continued success, and when we succeed, the community succeeds. Speaking of success, Robbins Air Force Base contributed $3.57 billion to the Georgia economy in 2022. It's truly an honor to serve where every day in Middle Georgia is Armed Forces Appreciation Day. And interestingly enough, just yesterday, Robbins received first Macon aircraft, And I was pleasantly, I was disappointed that Kevin wasn't out there to greet the aircraft, but he will be out there one of these days. We appreciate our community partners and look forward to continuing that longstanding Air Force community partnerships. And speaking of community partners, it is truly an honor to present Mayor Lester Miller to deliver the State of the Community today. Mayor Miller is the second mayor of Macon-Bibb County's consolidated government. Once election day had passed, he immediately built a transition team celebrating the rich diversity of this community by bringing together community leaders and experts from various sectors to map out the priorities and a direction for the consolidated government. Mayor Miller and his wife Toby have been married for 32 years. How about a round of applause? And have raised their two sons, Tyler and Landon, here in Macon-Bibb, who both graduated from the public school system. He is an attorney, a small business owner, a lifelong resident of Central Georgia who is recognized for the region as a community leader. Mayor Miller graduated with honors from Southwest High School a few years ago. Received his bachelor's in science and political science from Mercer and his Juris Doctor from Mercer University's Walter F. George Law School, and has practiced law in Macon for more than 27 years. Ladies and gentlemen, as a vice wing commander, you have to brag on things at your installation. Throughout the entire Air Force, there's 82 installations. There's vice wing commanders that brag about their new aircraft, their new weapon system, their new space-based radar, their new this, their new that. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to brag about the people here at Robbins. The generation after generation after generation that work at Robbins that make the Air Force happen. That, no kidding, produce some of the most lethal and most supportive aircraft in the fleet. Some of the new weapon systems that we have. Whether you're an electrician, you're a welder, you're an engineer, everyone matters at Team Robbins, and I'm proud to support the team. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Macon-Bibb Mayor Lester Miller.
That's what we do, take care of business. Let me ask each of you, do you have your ticket to the game? And are you ready to keep playing for Team Macon-Bibb and cheering on your teammates? That's why it is indeed a great day to be in Macon-Bibb County. You know, you hear me say that a lot, and I mean it every single time. That's because of you and the people that's unable to make it here today. Because what you do on a daily basis to improve our community, to make our city a better place to live. Before I go any further, I need us to remember and honor a very active and devoted member of our community who sadly is no longer with us. I want us to remember a guiding light for our culture, for our community, agency work, for our city, Otis Redden III. While the family could not be here today, I want to make sure that we use this time, this moment, in this building to lift them up in our prayers and to thank him for all that he did, both what people saw and what he did most importantly behind the scenes. He and his family are pillars of this community. They are helping generations of our youth discover their love of fine arts and much more. We are forever in their debt. Please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. There isn't any way for me to recognize everyone who contributed this past year. It would take hours, perhaps even longer than my last speech last year. That wasn't in the script. So allow me some grace for calling out just a few representative people in our groups. Would my fellow commissioners please stand? And I enthusiastically ask each one in the audience to give them a rousing round of applause. Thank each of you for being here today. I want you to know that I love you. I care about you. I will always have your back. And I look forward to working with you to the betterment of our community each and every day. We are moving forward together because of your love of this community, your willingness to have the hard discussions, and believe it or not, your ability to work together. Thank you to the Chamber of Commerce for hosting and organizing this event every year, and all the sponsors who made sure it was possible. With Chamber staff and volunteers once again, and our sponsors, please stand to be recognized. For everyone that was featured in the video you just watched, please stand to be recognized. You weren't randomly asked to be a part of this just because you could act or had an opening in your schedule, but it's for all the hard work you did, so please stand to be recognized. Each of you is connected to why we are seeing such success. And while we have hope for the continue, we know we can face many challenges ahead. We know each of you have stepped forward time and time again when asked to take charge, and when you see a need, you look for ways to help. Ladies and gentlemen, last year, I talked about how proud I was for our community, for coming together as a team, that we would have our wins and we would have our losses, and that ultimately our community would win because we were ready for the big time, and that the country and the world would indeed take notice. And here we are with the world's eyes upon us. Why? Because we have the home field advantage. This is our home. We are approving our lead. And because of we will win. We're here today in the newly renovated City Auditorium. It has stood strong and been part of our culture and our history for 100 years. Think of all that has happened under this copper dome and all that can happen now because we invested in its future. Look around and feel its strength. We're here today celebrating our bicentennial. Think of all the community has gone through to make it here. All the trials, all the tribulations, all the challenges, all the uphill battles. We are here today together because good people that came before us didn't give up. They rose up, and they rose above to do what's right for their communities for future, for us. And they made an investment in time and money and sweat. Think back to your parents, your grandparents, the pioneers and legends of our history, and feel their strength. We must recognize not just where we came from and what we went through, but what this land and what other people went through. I am honored for making the purposeful effort through our commission, the Bicentennial Committee, and most importantly, through our work to become closer with the Muskogee Creek Nation. Yes, we are a shining light of all of our history, the good and the bad. And we're looking forward to see how we can make the wrongs other people did. But they're all still connected to us. Look at the people around your table. Look at those nearby and feel their strength. To do it is difficult, emotional, but it's very important work. You know, the country is taking, and the world is taking notice of Macon-Bibb County. They see it and they understand that we have something special right here because of the people and their strength. Do you realize why they're taking notice? We could talk about the blight fight, the Brookdale Resource Center, the new opening of the GBI office in downtown Macon, our business and our industry, our friendly environment, and the new affordable housing funds that we'll have very soon. We could continue to talk about how our partners receiving the ARP funds had the knowledge, the experience, the expertise to quickly ramp up their programs when the funding became available. We could talk about the hundreds and millions of dollars in private investment in every part of our community, from downtown, new and current industries, to the Macon Mall and the amphitheater. We could talk about the number of improvements made through the Macon Action Plan and how this has confirmed and continued to gain speed, leading us to surpass all the efforts in other cities. Or we could just simply look at the results to the people and the neighborhoods that are being helped the most. Next week, we'll be tearing down Blight House number 500 since the Blight Fight began just a few years ago. That's nearly 100 in 2023 alone, and we're only in April. Volunteers and companies are bringing to life the gardens at Brookdale, which will provide fresh fruits and vegetables to residents year-round beginning this June. 17 men and women just got the best fire training in the best facility in the state from our Class 1 fire department, and they just graduated, ready to protect our community. And there's more good news. More are waiting to join them. Thanks to the school district in Bibb County and Central Georgia Technical College, we're becoming high school seniors in the fall to train there. When they cross across graduation in 2024, we'll be able to offer them the job at the same time. You know, sometimes we may not recognize it ourselves, but other cities and counties across the state are amazed at the level of economic development we've attracted recently. Thanks to the work and partnerships led by the Macon-Bibb County Industrial Authority. Just this last year, and I stress last year alone, more than $652 million in private investment alone has been slated for our community, bringing forth 660 new jobs and retaining another 525 jobs. With the successful implementation of the growth of the pilot, or what we refer to as payment in lieu of taxes program, we are seeing a greater return on investment every single year. So thank you. Our government and communities are looking for us now for guidance and advice. We're teaching others rather than having to seek out training for ourselves. This past year, I had the pleasure, along with our team, on behalf of the Knight Foundation, to join others as we spoke at Harvard University. Now, I heard a few of you laugh earlier. They said not too long ago I graduated from Southwest. Well, who would have thought this Southwest kid who had his issues, doing his work timely and wisely, would be able to speak at Harvard University with some of the most elite in the whole United States. But not only that, to be able to speak on behalf of those folks here in Macon-Bibb County. Who would have thought that this kid would one day present to others on how the best to use the American Rescue Plan funds? You know, there's a lot of people who still haven't got their money out there to the people that need it the most. But Macon-Bibb County, with the help of Knight and others, led the nation in this effort. We were addressing food deserts, increasing food distribution, keeping transit prices low, investing millions in affordable housing, providing mental health support services, supporting public safety, helping people experience homeless, and much more. Just recently, the National Reimagining Civic Commons, just 2 weeks ago, brought government, community, philanthropy, and nonprofit leaders to us. They brought them to us to learn how our civic engagement, our ability to work together, and our ability to learn from each other's differences is the driving force behind making sure all of our community works to benefit all of our people. Do you know what those visitors said about our city while they were here? Let me summarize in just a few words. Wow, I wish our city worked like this. But it's more than just conferences, trainings, national case studies. People are choosing on their own to visit our city, just to be here. One fact you may not know is for the first time ever, our hotel motel sales tax collection surpassed $6 million. That's an increase of $900,000 from just the year before. Why? More people are traveling here than ever before because of our history, our music, our culture, our restaurants and shops, our friendliness, and our welcoming nature, our people. Because of major events like the downtown Christmas lights, the Cherry Blossom Festival, the Bragg Jam, the Pan-African Festival, the Mulberry Street Arts Festival, the Macon Film Festival, the Christmas on First Street, the Nizella and the downtown Christmas parades, the Veterans Day Parade and concert, the Earth Day Festival, multiple health festivals, and more. Because we're making sure our recreational assets are being used to their fullest to attract people. Like this past weekend, Lake Togasawee hosted the jet ski races as part of a national series. It's been 20 years since they've been here before. And Visit Macon, under the leadership of Gary Wheat, convinced them to return. And have us for the first race of their series. Over 600,000 impact just on this weekend. Thank you, Gary. They're coming here because of great numbers, because they want to visit the Old Monkey Mounds National Historic Park. Park attendance this year, by the way, in 2023 alone, is up 50% in just the first 3 months of 2023 over 2022. Like the commercial says, but wait, there's more. That's not in here, by the way. And that's only going to increase. Thanks to the people in this room, with the help of our state, our federal, our other leaders, it will become a national park. So how is all this happening? Because we're far better at telling our story, about marketing our positives, about showing the success in addressing our challenges better than we ever have before. From the New York Times to the Forbes, to Southern Living, to Bloomberg, to CBS This Morning, and more. We've been featured in more than 24 state, national, international articles about what we're doing and why people should visit here or move to Macon. These aren't paid advertisements. These are journalists coming here, talking to real people, asking the tough questions, comparing our results against others, talking with experts, and writing a story from their point of view. We've been mentioned in the same articles like other cities London, England, Louisville, Kentucky, Auckland, New Zealand, Charleston, South Carolina, Tarragona, Spain, Grand Junction, Colorado, and many, many more. But this is not a victory lap, my friends. This is a moment in time. This is a moment to stop, to breathe, and to look back. To pick up our heads from the work and see what's been done. To celebrate each other. To celebrate Team Macon-Bibb. So take a moment, look at the people next to you at the table. No, really, look at the people next to you at the table. They played a role in every success that brought us here, and we be a part of how we address every challenge ahead of us. So right now, I say thank you. Now, it's great to celebrate, but the game isn't over. Matter of fact, it's far from it. And not everyone is ready or even informed enough to join in this celebration. But we remain fully committed to showing, not telling. Let me say that again. We remain fully committed to showing, not telling them. It is a great day to be in Macon-Bibb County, despite the challenges that we're working every day to make it better. Yes, we still have a long way to go improving public safety. It takes mere moments for a violent action to take place, but it takes years for mental health, job training, and other support services to fully have an impact on our community. Through the Macon Violence Prevention Program, we will continue to fund our nonprofit and our faith-based organizations that are working hard and directly in our neighborhoods to address the root causes of violence in our community. We are seeing encouraging results and hearing amazing stories. This work will take years and strong determination from each of us to make sure that this good work continues. We still have a long way to go to improving our infrastructure, but our commission this past year allocated 5 times, that's that many from a Southwest graduate, 5 times as much money. Did I say 5 times as much money? To make sure that our roads were improved in any previous year before. We still must overcome the perception there's nothing to do here in Macon and no reason to visit. But we're opening up the country's largest indoor pickleball court, or some in my office call it the Pickle Mall. And it's already gaining interest as a site for national competitions. That's going to be a smash. Just a joke for some of my fellow pickleballers in the audience. We're hosting the first half marathon in 20 years in November and are looking forward to our new fields at Carroll and Creighton Park to bring back the best Flag City tournaments with hundreds of teams competed in the past. There are plans going on right now for a new parade and celebration in June, for Juneteenth. Our first legal distillery just opened, expanding our burgeoning craft beer scene, and several new restaurants are opening and preparing to open soon. Yes, we still have a long way to go to realize our full potential as a musical and arts community. But guess what? News today is we're not opening a 10,000 square seat amphitheater. No, we're opening a 12,000 capacity amphitheater this year, meaning bigger and better acts and better concerts will come to Macon-Bibb County. These shows will bring more people here and provide our local arts community the chance to be seen by thousands. We still have a long way to go in community and economic development, but we're continuing through the reimagining of Civic Commons to the Connect Historic Pleasant Hill to the rest of our community. We're focused on revitalizing the Macon Mall, which will kickstart years of rejuvenation in the Eisenhower Quarter. We're working to attract new development in East Macon, just across from the Centerplex, to include a hotel, restaurants, lofts, and much more. We're beginning to look at ways to use Lake Togasawke as a conference location and to attract new and more recreational activities. And we're going to be helping the families that live here. Thanks to the passage of our OLAS, the number of people who visit here each and every day, and the amount of money they spend here will again roll your taxes back, your property taxes, each and every year. You can look for us to make a recommendation next month for a minimum of 5 meals to be rolled back on your taxes. Recently, we allocated $7.5 million to attract the same and private investments to build more affordable housing and strengthen our neighborhoods. But sadly, it will never be enough for some people. We need to be okay with that, including myself, at 2 o'clock in the morning on Facebook. We need to be okay with the fact that every announcement we make, for every step we take, sounds like a song. I'll be watching that. Someone would jump into the comments and try to tear us down. Imagine that. We are not alone in people trying to tear down their homes, to throw their games. When we were listed by the New York Times alongside places like Louisville, Kentucky, as one of the top 52 places to go in the world, you know what the comment section in their media market looked like? It was nearly identical to us. And this is not a new concept for communities. Just for a moment, let me poll the room. Who loves coming to concerts, shows, sneaker ball, even more so now after the renovations that this dome has become visible? What about cheering for this building if you've had fun here, plan to have fun here, and love having it in downtown? So let me take you back about 100 years when only a few of you were here and read some lines written by someone in a paid advertisement in the newspaper. Number one, a $600,000 auditorium? What are they going to do when they get it? According to plans, it will not house a single city department or a single elected official. Another one, how many days and nights is this thing going to be open? How will it be occupied? A third one, let all taxpayers of the community take sober second thought before we acquiesce by silence in this reckless expenditure of public funds. Sound familiar? Now, let me read to you 2 lines that the same paper, yes, we had a paper then, that same paper's coverage of opening night and the full community actual reaction. Number 1, long before the time for the program to begin at 8 o'clock last night, tickets were all out, and many thousands of applicants were turned away, very disappointed. Number 2, the crowd, as if it's all by the richness and vastness of this great interior, sat attentive as the opening speeches were made. We are here today in this magnificent 100-year-old city auditorium that has been witness to so much for our history. This room, which has provided our community with so much joy and so much fellowship, because of the leaders had a vision for our community, for its future, and the strength to make it happen. We are here today during our bicentennial celebration because we have always looked to the future and tried to create something better for our lives, for our children's lives, and for those of our friends and our neighbors. We must fight back against the much louder voices that shout negativity every chance they get. They are louder because they have time to shout and to criticize and to throw stones, because we have a vision. Most importantly, we have the facts, and we have the love for our community. We don't have time for petty negativity that's always questioning why. We're too busy solving the challenges immediately in front of us, preparing for the ones we see coming, and making a multitude of plans to create something great. You see, Team Macon-Bibb didn't come 2.5 years ago. We've been a team for 100 years, for hundreds of years, in training for this very moment, for this very game. Right now, we are writing our actions, the tricentennial speech, I guess that's the word, for the mayor in 2123. I can promise you it won't be me. We get to create and tell our own story. So ask yourself, in 100 years, what do you want people to say about us? My friends, my teammates, this is our time. This is our game. This is going to be our win. Why? Because we have the home field advantage. And every win I've talked about today, every win I didn't have time to mention, every win we will have, will in 100 years be traced back to one answer to the question of why and how. Because of our people and our strength. This is our home. We are not giving up no matter what. And we'll be bringing everyone to the game. Thank you, and God bless.
Wow, okay, he deserves another round of applause for that. The man takes care of business. I've always wanted, as a little girl growing up in Macon, how many times did I dream of standing on this stage and saying the two words, thanks, Lester. Thank you, Mayor Miller, for sharing your community vision here today. I am Jessica Walden, President and CEO of the Greater Macon Chamber of Commerce, and what we've witnessed here today is history. We're making history today in a historic space that was originally constructed to celebrate Macon's centennial anniversary. And here we are 100 years later, where so much history has happened under this roof. As the mayor said, it's here that a little Richard was pulled up on stage by Sister Rosetta Tharpe, changing the course of our community's history. It was here on this very stage that James Brown scuffed his knees as he pleaded, please, 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 and had his cape put on. And it's here that we pay tribute time and time again through his homecoming shows and his final homecoming, the King of Soul, Otis Redding. To the many, many times that the Allman Brothers sold this place out again and again. And here we are today, selling it out again, this time not in the name of music, but in the same spirit of being better together as a community. So this sold out crowd, give yourself a round of applause. Macon is in fact more than our music. Behind those songs are our people. Behind our progress are our people. Forward into our future, there are our people. Some of those people are going to have 200 years to make up for the progress that we're celebrating here today. And the Greater Macon Chamber of Commerce will be here to support it. The Greater Macon Chamber of Commerce is Macon-Bibb's most significant organized business community. We've served as the voice of local business since 1861. The Chamber creates powers in numbers, currently made up of just over 700 investors, from the smallest businesses to our biggest industries. The Chamber provides connection through our network, education with programming and initiatives, advocacy on behalf of business, and avenues of economic opportunity to accelerate business, including working collaboratively to attract and retain talent for Macon and our Central Georgia region. So join us, get engaged, make your mark on Macon. Please help me in thanking our sponsors and program participants who helped make your mark today. Our partners in the mayor's office, our presenting sponsor, First Choice Primary Care, our additional sponsors, some of the best businesses, economic developers, and community organizations in the world. Thank you to our Taste of Macon Road participants. Shout out to our Flex students, Thank you to my sister chamber member, April Bragg, for joining us today and coaching me through some of this. And thanks to the Centraplex team for their hospitality and support for, again, this sold-out program. Thank you to our chamber ambassadors and volunteers who gave up their time today. Will they please stand? Thank you again to our board of directors and our chair, Scott Siegel, for leading us today. And to the mighty chamber team, a staff who worked so hard to pull off this monumental historic event, thank y'all so much. Y'all give them a shout out. Finally, thank you to our chamber investors. It is because of you that you are lifting our sails in the business community. And as we witness here today, Macon-Bibb County is greater together. Let's go forth into the next 200. Thank y'all.